So, SMGs in Destiny 2 are one of my favorites to use. The problem, however, is that the weapon itself is in need of more buffs for the PvE Sandbox. However, I will say, it seems that Mirror Imago has found a way around that. This is an incredible SMG in general, and with the perks, it elevates it even further. And with some wild juice for Strand in Heresy's artifact, we have an SMG that goes around the lack of power that these weapons inherently have at the moment. Now, before we jump into it, just want to say, if you guys enjoyed the video and want more from me, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell to be notified on when I drop more content. With that out the way, let's talk about Mirror Imago. Awesome name, by the way. So this Strand SMG has been one from the heretic arsenal that I have kept my eye on. I love SMGs. I've pretty much made that pretty clear so far in this video, but Strand SMGs are far and few still, and besides the current new exotic Borrow Dyad, we've only had one solid PvE legendary in my opinion, that being Imminence from Salvation's Edge raid. But even then, this weapon struggles to overcome some of its flaws for the weapon type in PvE. In PvP, it is perfectly fine. Mirror Imago, well, it has a juice it needs to overcome that, as I've already stated. And as we pull up the comparison tool to compare Mirror Imago and Imminence, the base stat difference is kind of wild. For one, it's important to state that they are two different frames, but the rounds per minute is identical at 900 RPM. Seeing Mirror Imago take the lead on some of these stats is wild, to be honest. Impact has a difference of 5, range has a difference of 11, stability is slightly different with a difference of 3. These are solid things for Mirror Imago to lead in. Now handling, it's a 17 difference in favor of Imminence, but this in my opinion only means something in PvP. Reload speed is a wild lead as well, a 24 stat difference in favor of Mirror Imago, pretty much a game changer difference, and we haven't even got to the perks yet. Besides those stats, the only one worth mentioning would be base mag size. Imminence has 40, Mirror Imago has 36. But as you saw with the comparison tool, Mirror Imago is a force as a Strand SMG, even to the point where it tops the stats of a raid weapon. So with that out the way, let's talk about perks. So here on screen is going to be all the perks. Important to mention, with all heretic weapons, there are two versions of the base and adept version, one with one origin trait, one with two origin trait, that origin trait being the King's Fall origin trait. Now, we're not going to be reading that one, but all the way to the right with Willing Vessel is going to be the first origin trait. Of course, we're labeling it so you guys can follow and reading it from right to left. So Willing Vessel is my preferred one. Honestly, dealing damage or defeating targets with this weapon gradually increase stability, handling, reload speed, and charge rate. This effect gradually decreases over time but is gained more quickly while near allies. This is a phenomenal perk and is probably the one I prefer more than the one from King's Fall. Just my personal opinion in the case of what we're dealing with here. Now next to that in column 4 we have Hatchling, Target Lock, Swashbuckler, Sword Logic, Permeability, Offhand Strike, and Unrelenting. Next to that in column 3 we have Recycled Energy, Subsistence, Grave Robber, Pugilist, To the Pain, Moving Target, and Overflow. And for magazines, we have Acquires Rounds, Appended Mag, Tactical Mag, Extended Mag, Steady Rounds, Alloy Magazine, and Flared Magwell. In my opinion, an incredible selection of perks. Now for God Rolls, we have a few, but in my opinion, the first one is truly going to stand out and the one we talk about the most. So here on screen, we have Arrowhead Break, Tactical Mag, Overflow, and Target Lock. With Overflow, well, more shots in the magazine is always huge for primary weapons, especially if they lack some punch. And with Target Lock, we get to increase the punch of this weapon as long as we don't miss any shots. So with Overflow, picking up special or heavy ammo automatically loads this weapon beyond normal capacity. The Overflow capacity will max out at 100% magazine capacity. This is based on your mag size and activates even while stowed. This is huge and pairs perfectly with Target Lock. Now, the Target Lock will depend on you not missing your shots, so damage increases the longer this weapon remains on target. However, there is more than meets the eye with that description. You like that Transformers reference? So successful hits within 0.2 seconds of each grant a ramping damage buff after scoring 12.5% of the magazine capacity as hits. Missing deactivates the buff. The 20% of mag capacity on this perk for SMGs was reverted, important to mention, allegedly, so I don't know why D2 Foundry or Light GG haven't updated this yet. This was specifically, I believe, in the 8.10.03 update, the one I think in February. Yeah, they reverted that. important to mention. I know some people may be confused on that. Stacks displayed on screen are only visual aids. The buff ramp up with each shot once active reaches maximum strength of 5 stacks. So percent of the magazine capacity as hits required for each visual stack: 12.5%, 35.5%, 54.5%, 74.5%, and 110.33%. It's important to note that this is based on your magazine size, not the overflow capacity. So damage buff ramps up from 6.73% to 40% upon reaching maximum strength. Assuming no missing shots, it provides roughly a 25% damage buff on average after firing 100% of the magazine capacity. So as you see with target lock, this works incredible with overflow. Will you realistically always hit that 40%? No, but it's a simple perk that requires minimum to activate. Now, besides that, let's say you are looking for another God roll for some reason, swapping target lock for either hatchling or sword logic is perfectly fine. I would probably lean a little bit more on hatchling instead. Also, an honorable mention will be permeability if you want to fully kit out the loadout for a dedicated light subclass build. That means like if you want only void weapons for void builds or only arc weapons for arc builds, permeability is a fine perk. Is it optimal? No, I would definitely lean on target lock in most cases unless permeability saw a massive buff, but it is worth some fun to at least mess around with. But as a whole, this SMG, especially with some juice in the artifact, is awesome. Mods like Unraveling Orbs or Horde Shuttle amp this weapon to hilarious places. You're basically summoning an army of threadlings incredibly fast, as well as having unraveling rounds almost all the time, and if you're using a strand fragment like Thread of Evolution, you can make these bad boys travel further and deal more damage. With Thread of Evolution, this will be a 33% damage increase. But besides that, yeah, this weapon rocks. Honestly, the only SMG worth using right now in the PvE Sandbox. I hope Bungie looks to buff the damage for SMGs as a whole, but I fear that they might lean into these perk combinations instead. Granting us more mag size seems to be the fix they are leaning into, especially since they have already increased the base mag size for all SMGs in Heresy. Mirror Imago, massive win of a weapon. But yeah, looking forward to showing you some fun stuff in a Banner of War build video. It's been like 4 months since I last did one. The time is now for another one with some updates due to the fact of the artifact. I just realized I did a John Cena reference, and that makes me upset because F that guy and what he did to Cody. That two-face bald fraud. Wow, I kind of got off the rails there. But if you guys enjoyed the video and want more from me, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell to be notified on when I drop more content. Also, dropping this video a like helps out the video a ton, and of course comment down below your thoughts on this weapon and what you think here. As usual, thank you guys for watching. It is greatly appreciated. That's all I have to say on this one. ShadowNinja here, and I'm out.